Hey, I'm Allyson, and I'm going to be reading to you from Fromm's Man for Himself about this part that he wrote on productive love and thinking. Human existence is characterized by the fact that man is alone and separated from the world. Not being able to stand this separation, he is impelled to seek for relatedness and oneness. There are many ways in which he can realize this need, but only one in which he is a unique entity, remains intact, only one in which his own powers unfold, in the very process of being related. It is the paradox of human existence that man must simultaneously seek for closeness, for independence, for oneness with others, and at the same time for the preservation of his uniqueness and particularity. As we have shown, the answer to this paradox and to the moral problem of man is productiveness. One can be productively related to the world by acting and by comprehending. Man produces things, and in the process of creation, he exercises his powers over matter. Man comprehends the world mentally and emotionally through love and through reason. His power of reason enables him to penetrate through the surface and to grasp the essence of his object by getting into active relation with it. His power of love enables him to break through the wall which separates him from another person and to comprehend him. Although love and reason are only two different forms of comprehending the world, and although neither is possible without the other, they are expressions of different powers, that of motion and that of thinking, and hence must be discussed separately. The concept of productive love is very different indeed from what is frequently called love. There is hardly any word which is more ambiguous and confusing than the word love. It is used to note almost every feeling short of hate and disgust. It compromises everything from the love of ice cream to the love of a sympathy, from the mild sympathy to the most intense feeling of closeness. People feel they love, or if they have fallen for somebody. They call their dependence love, their possessiveness love too. They believe, in fact, that nothing is easier than to love, that the difficulty lies only in finding the right object, and that their failure to find happiness in love is due to their bad luck in not finding the right partner. But contrary to all this confused and wishful thinking, love is a very specific feeling, and while every human being has the capacity for love, its realization is one of the most difficult achievements. Genuine love is rooted in the productiveness and may properly be called, therefore, productive love. Its essence is the same for whether it's a mother's love for a child or a love for man or erotic love between two individuals. Although the objects of love differ and consequently the intensity and quality of love differ, certain basic elements may be said to be characteristic of all forms of productive love. These are care, responsibility, respect, and knowledge. Care and responsibility denote that love is an activity and not a passion by which one is overcome, nor is it an effect which one is affected by. The element of care and responsibility in productive love has been admirably described in the book of Jonah. God told Jonah, "Go to Nineveh to warn its inhabitants that they will be punished unless they mend their evil ways." Jonah runs away from this mission because he is afraid that the people in Nineveh will repent and that God will forgive them. He is a man with a strong sense of order and law, but without love. However, in his attempt to escape, he finds himself in the belly of a whale, symbolizing the state of isolation and imprisonment, which his lack of love and solidarity has brought upon him. God saves him, and Jonah goes to Nineveh. He preaches to the inhabitants as God has told him, and the very thing he was afraid of happens. The men of Nineveh repent their sins, mend their ways. God forgives them, decides not to destroy the city. Jonah is angry and disappointed. He wanted justice to be done, not mercy. At last he finds some comfort by the shade of a tree which God has made grow for him to protect him from the sun. But when God makes the tree wilt, Jonah is depressed and angrily complains to God. God answers, "Thou hast had pity on the gourd for the which thou hast not labored, neither madest it grow, which came up in a night, and perished in a night. And should I not spare Nineveh, that great city, wherein are more than 64,000 people that cannot discern between their right hand and their left hand? and so much cattle. God's answer to Jonah is to be understood symbolically. God explains to Jonah that the essence of love is to labor for something, to make something grow, that love and labor are inseparable. One loves for that for which one labors, and one labors for which one loves. So he goes on later in the chapter to say that love is a productive form of relatedness to others and to oneself. It implies responsibility, care, respect, knowledge, and the wish for the other person to grow and develop. It is the expression of intimacy between two human beings under the condition of preservation of each other's integrity. So I think this is like a really cool way of looking at love, because it's not like something that people are used to like hearing. So it's really different than anything I've ever heard growing up. And so I guess like the main parts of these is that you have to really respect the other person, and that meaning by that they have to really recognize that that other person, they're not like you. They're different, and you're not going to be the same person. You're not going to own them, and you have to realize that you're different. And then another part is the knowledge. So you have to actually like care about that person and care about them enough to go and like learn about them and know who they are and learn what they like and learn the little things about them. And so and then you have that care has to go even further, and you have to care about them enough to want to see them grow and develop in a way that is beneficial to themselves, and not in a way that's going to benefit you as a person, in a way that is for them, that has nothing to do with you. You want to see their best interest for them come alive. And furthermore, you have to get rid of that feeling of possessiveness and objectification, which are things that I think are really common in our society when you're in a relationship with someone else. And instead of this, it's Fromm says that you should have responsibility for that person. Not just responsibility, but responsibility, which is a really cool way of thinking of that word. It's being able to respond to who that person is and to react to who they are and connect with them. Instead of like the reflection of who you think they are. That way you don't get slapped in the face one day when you realize that that person is a person and not that object that you've created them to be. So, cool thing to think about.